Hello everyone, and welcome to my in-depth review of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. I have been wanting to make this review for some time, and with some thought, I decided to try a little different format than what I usually do for reviews. In my past reviews, I mostly kind of discuss the main things wrong with the film, like I talk about the acting, cinematography, editing, and such, and go unchronologically throughout the film. Well, with this review, what I'm going to do is go through the movie, scene by scene, beginning to end, and discuss all the things that I have found wrong with this film. Because when you look at it very in-depth, there is so much wrong. This film has fascinated me ever since I first saw it in the theater. My initial first reaction when I came out of the theater on my first watch was, it's alright, I guess. It felt very average. You know, I was just like, I didn't feel like I hated it. I didn't think that I liked it. I was just, eh. But then I thought about it. And I thought about it more. And more. And the worse it got. This is a film that is both fascinatingly bad and entertainingly bad to me. Kind of like in the same realm of Batman v Superman. Which is in a way a coincidence considering that one of the main writers for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker did write Batman vs Superman. I do not understand how something like this film, with all its flaws and all the things that are just so stupid, can be made and no one on the production crew, whether in the writing, the actual filming, or the editing, calls out any of the flaws and say, hey, this is stupid and dumb, maybe we shouldn't have this in the film, or this doesn't make sense, we need to change this. And boy, does this film have a lot of stupid stuff. So why waste any more time? Let us dive right into this film and analyze why The Rise of Skywalker is such a complete and utter train wreck. Remember when people were cheering at this part during The Force Awakens premiere like 5 years ago? Not at this movie. My theater and a lot of other theaters were dead silent. Nobody's excited for Star Wars anymore. Rise of Skywalker. Why is this called The Rise of Skywalker? I mean, I know why it's called that because I've seen the film, but it's just not a good title for the last film in the saga. All the Skywalkers are dead. Luke died in the last one. Don't worry, we'll talk about the reason why it's called this once we get to that part. The dead to speak. What a way to start. No build-up, just coming right out and saying, yes, Palpatine is alive. He survived this. And this. And yet somehow he survived that. Somehow he survived those two explosions. I don't know how. I don't know why. Maybe we'll get an explanation. Who knows? Maybe he'll give us some insight into the dark side of the Force. A threat of revenge from Emperor Palpatine. Wait, what? Why the heck would you broadcast to the galaxy that you are alive? You are asking for people to come and find you and stop you. No one needs to know you're alive. Yada, 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 yada. Rey training for her encounter with the First Order. Training? Why does Rey need training? She is so powerful in the last two films. She defeated Kylo in The Force Awakens. She defeated Luke in her small little fight. She can use the powers like Force Mind Trick without even having to practice it. Lift heavy rocks. She can cause rocks to float and crumble just from meditating. She took on those red Snoke guards in The Last Jedi. She is inherently a great warrior. She's like the best fighter the Resistance has. And now in the last movie she has to train? Why does she need training? Everything just comes naturally to her. You don't need to train Rey. You are a Jedi God. You can do everything. So anyway, Kylo Ren is heading to this planet. Apparently, this planet is Mustafar, according to the sources. Once he arrives, we see him battling these people. Who are these people? What are they protecting? The Wayfinder? Why would they protect the Wayfinder? Are they Sith loyalists? Why is Kylo killing them? Also, you like how he slides into this backward stab? It's some like Michael Jackson move from a galaxy far, far away. Why is the Wayfinder here? Why is it out here in the middle of this Mustafarian forest? This doesn't seem like a safe place to keep something so valuable. Why is it not in the fortress that Vader resides in, like in Rogue One? According to the Victual Dictionary, this is Darth Vader's Sith Wayfinder. Why is the Wayfinder out here? If it belongs to Darth Vader, why is it out here in the middle of nowhere? Why is it not in this fortress? Keep it in the fortress. That would be way safer. Well, whatever. Now Kylo has the Wayfinder, and he uses it to get to Exegol to find Palpatine. But why are you flying through this red debris field thing, or whatever it is? Couldn't you just fly around it? You can go above it, below it, left, right. Do you have to fly through it? Is this some kind of portal? Is it just some debris space stuff or whatever? And looking at this shot, doesn't cover the entire planet or stuff. Why do you have to fly through it? It looks like you can just go around it. This isn't the going on a bear hunt storyline where you have to go through every obstacle you come across. You can just go around it. Anyway, he arrives on Exegol, goes under this big, huge cube floating thing, down an elevator into Palpatine's lair. There is where Palpatine starts to speak to Kylo.
I have been every voice you have ever heard inside your head.
Now, wouldn't this be kind of a earth-shattering revelation for Kylo? That it was never Vader, it was Palpatine the entire time? So was same with Snoke. Does he not know that Vader changed to the light side and threw Palpatine off the balcony to save Luke? Did he not know that he turned good in the end? Anakin is a Force ghost now. Why doesn't he just appear to Kylo and say, hey, that voice is not me, that is somebody out there, I think it's Palpatine, who is trying to manipulate you. He was so obsessed with finishing what Vader started in The Force Awakens, but now it's just, whatever. Anyway, as we go ahead and walk through this little underground lair, we come across a tank of botched Snoke clones. So wait, he can just make this person?
I made Snoke.
You made Snoke. Wait, was Snoke his own individual person? I mean, I'm assuming not. I was assuming Palpatine was controlling him, like possessing him or something with some kind of dark side power. Based off that line, it sounds like Snoke is his individual person. Why would Palpatine do that? Why wouldn't you want to possess him and control him from your own place so that he can do exactly what you want? Like, did you make Snoke an individual, but he did every single thing you wanted, and you were just in the shadows the entire time? Wait, if Snoke is his own individual, why not make an army of them? Why not make an army of Snokes? It would basically be an army of powerful Force users. That would be beneficial. I feel like that would be a tactical advantage. Kylo then asks the question that is all on the audience's minds. How is Palpatine even alive? And Palpatine gives a very good explanation.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
I guess we don't need any more explaining how he is alive. He exploded twice, and his explanation is the Force. The Force. Just the Force. It works. Don't question the logic. It just works. It's the Force. Everything the Force.
Force, Rich. Oh, the Force. It's not sloppy writing. It's the Force.
So anyway, Kylo asks him what the heck could he offer him that he would want. And then Palpatine shows off his legion of 100 to thousands of Star Destroyers. Holy cow, is he lifting these Star Destroyers with the Force? It shows his hands raising them and then cuts to the Star Destroyers rising up. Did he lift all those with the Force? If that is the case, then holy cow! Why would you need this fleet of hundreds of Star Destroyers if you are this freaking powerful? This is a Force power unheard of in the Star Wars movies. So apparently in a comic line that is outside of the movies, but also now considered canon. Remember in The Last Jedi with the training temple being on fire and all the students being dead? Yeah, apparently, according to the comic, it was Palpatine who sent Sith lightning all the way across space to hit that Jedi temple. He could send Sith lightning that far. Why do you need an army if you can do this? Why do you need these ships? You're like more powerful than frickin' Superman. Just use your fingers. Why were these Star Destroyers underground? What is the purpose of that? Wouldn't breaking them through this ground/ice, whatever it is, kind of damage them maybe in some way? Or at least have the possibility of damaging them? Are you trying to hide them? Hide them from who? You're on Exegol, a planet that nobody has a map to. Nobody knows where this planet is. There's no reason to have it underground if you're trying to hide it. Nobody knows where you are. Nobody knew you were even alive until you decided to make the stupid decision and announce your presence to the galaxy. I guess they just did it for the sake of this cool visual. Oh, we gotta have Star Destroyers rising out of the ground like the undead. Palpatine says to Kylo that he will give them this fleet to take over the galaxy if he goes and kills Rey. He also warns Kylo that she is not who he thinks she is. We're going back to Rey's identity. Who is Rey? Is she a nobody? Is she a somebody? Who were her parents? We're still continuing on with this. Wasn't this established in The Last Jedi that she's just basically a nobody? Are we really still on this plot line? Really? Okay. We then cut to Poe, Finn, R2-D2, and Chewing headed to this Elsa Ice Palace to receive intel for General Leia. They fly under a hatch and attach a cable to R2 to download the important information that might help them win the war. However, the First Order is aware of their location, and with TIE fighters incoming, they hurry with completing the download of the information and rush out to try to escape the TIE fighters.
How thick do you think that ice wall is?
Well, I guess that ice was not thick enough to stop the ship. What if it was thick enough? Would you have just crashed and exploded? That would have been for no good reason. Wow, so now TIE fighters have the ability to not only light speed, but light speed track them to wherever they are going. Remember in the last movie, they needed a ship as big as the Supremacy, or at least as big as a Star Destroyer, to employ a hyperspace tracker? It was a huge technology. Now they just miniaturized it and put it into the tiny little TIE fighters. Quite a massive jump in technology. Also, what is with this light speed skipping? I thought the idea of light speed is that you have to have coordinates where you go, otherwise you risk crashing to a planet or a sun.
Traveling through hyperspace ain't like dust and crops, boy. Without precise calculations, we'd fly right through a star or bounce too close to a supernova and that'd end your trip real quick, wouldn't it?
I know in the vacuum of space that is a very low chance that you may crash into a planet or a sun, but I mean somehow Poe is able to light speed skip through all of these locations and not crash into anything. He just happens to stop light speeding at the exact point to where he doesn't crash into anything. If he was just a millisecond late, he probably could have crashed into any of these pillars or objects. Like, I thought the idea is that you can't do this because it's a So after they fend off the TIE fighters and defeat the last two, we then go to Rey, who is meditating, and oh my gosh, she's flying in the air. She's floating. She's floating in the air. How is that possible? This doesn't happen when Jedi meditate. They don't just fly in the air or have rocks just flying around them in this way. She doing this without even trying. She can just float in the air now whenever she's trying to meditate. Really? I mean, I know the Force gives you the ability to jump high, and that makes sense, but like, really? You can just float while meditating? Can you do this consciously? Can you fly from one place to the other now? Or is this just a power that you can only do when you meditate? Anyway, it appears that she is trying to make contact with past Jedi and see if she can talk to them. But unfortunately, she is not able to hear them. Since for some reason she cannot contact the last Jedi even though she is OP, she decides to spend her time elsewhere and run the training course. Run the training course. Rey needs training. Also, you notice the continuity error here. In this shot, the saber is off. The next shot, it is on. And then it's off again and hanging on her belt. Quite an interesting continuity error to catch, just like this whole trilogy. And why would you even run with the lightsaber? You don't need it right now. You're just running the course. You're not trying to defend yourself from anything. Why have it on? It's a very dangerous weapon to have at your side. Just keep it off and then turn it on when you need to. Stop turning it on and off, for God's sake. Now she needs... wait, she's training with this ball thing. She's training with like one of the training balls. Why are you training against this thing? You defeated Kylo and Luke. I think you need more of a formidable opponent than a frickin' flying shooting ball. While training, she then gets distracted in a feigned connection to Kylo, and the ball hits her with a few lasers this time. Frustratingly, she swings and throws the lightsaber, chopping down some trees. She then uses a stick to destroy the training ball rather than the lightsaber, and we have a brief flashback moment. Who is Rey? Who is she? What is she? We will never know. She then turns to her side and notices that a tree has fallen on poor BB-8. No, wait, Rey, if you just use the Force, you can just push the tree off. No, Rey, please, just use the Force, lift the tree off of BB. What are you doing? Stop it! So then Rey feels not ready, for some reason, and then hands Leia the lightsaber and saying she will wield it one day. Also, now it's no longer your saber. It's now Leia's saber. Okay. We then see Rey going through the sacred Jedi text. Wait, the text? I thought the texts were destroyed. Luke said he was burning the text, the tree, all of it down. And even Yoda and him were debating about their importance. He even says,
Time it is for you to look past a pile of old books.
as if they were in there when they were burned. Did she take the text without Luke's knowledge? Did she just wander in there while Luke was asleep and just take the text out of his hands without him ever knowing? Why does she need the text? Yoda says that she already has everything she needs.
Wisdom they held, but that library contained nothing that the girl Rey does not already possess.
Well, apparently not, Yoda. You are dead wrong, because she is reading them in detail. Wait, is that a lightsaber off in the corner there? Have you started building your lightsaber already? But that is the final step of the training. You haven't completed your training. Rey hasn't completed her training, yeah. So then Rey is told that the Falcon has returned, and then Poe and her have a little exchange.
What'd you do to the droid?
What'd you do to the Falcon?
Falcon's in a lot better shape than he is.
BB-8's not on fire.
What's left of him isn't on fire.
Better shape? What's left of him? BB-8 lost like an orange cover round plate thing. Nothing else on BB is damaged. The Falcon is on fire and probably more damage than that. BB lost an orange ring thing. Nothing else about him is hurt.
Tell me what happened.
You tell me first.
You know what you are?
What?
You're difficult. Really difficult.
You-
You're a difficult man.
Why do they feel like they had to put that in there? Difficult man. Why not just difficult? I don't know. It seems a bit iffy to me.
You're the best fighter we have. We need you. Out there, not here.
He's right, Rey. You don't need to train. You're the best fighter on this force. You need to be out there helping. You're great at everything. So anyway, Poe calls a meeting with the rest of the Resistance to reveal the terrible news that Palpatine is back.
Dark science. Cloning. Secrets only the Sith knew.
Yeah, everyone just accept this. Oh, he probably cloned himself or something. It's a clone, dark side powers and stuff. Yeah, it makes sense that he's just survived these 2 explosions. This is like such a cheap cop-out in film, too, whenever someone comes back. Yeah, it was a clone, LOL.
Followers have been building something for years. The largest fleet the galaxy's ever known. In 16 hours, attacks on all free worlds begin. The Emperor and his fleet have been hiding in the unknown regions on a world called Exegol.
You know, that is very brief and little information to have gotten. Was that all in the message that you downloaded into R2? Why would you need to be plugged into R2 to download this little of information? Why did it take so long? It should have been instantaneous. Why not send this message via, like, email or something, whatever is in this universe? Or why not just tell them verbally? Like, they could arrive and then they could open the hatch and say, hey, Palpatine is alive somehow. He's on a planet that we don't know where. It's some place called Exegol. He's going to have a fleet of Star Destroyers, like hundreds of them, and they're going to attack in 16 hours. Okay, that's it. Bye. Seriously, it was that quick. You could have escaped the TIE fighters much more easily. Feels like this technology is lackluster if it has to take this long to literally download this little of information. You could have just write it on a piece of paper and just given it to them. Anyway, while Poe is giving this information, something catches Rey's attention and she heads to get one of the Jedi techs. Also, remember how Rey gave up Luke's saber to Leia, saying that she would wield it one day when she's ready? Well, apparently she took it back from Leia without ever telling her. She's wearing it on her belt. Rey tells Leia that there is a way to find Exegol, via a Sith Wayfinder, which apparently Luke was looking for in his spare time, and that if we find the Wayfinder, we can find Exegol.
So you got her up and running?
You were right before.
Wow, the Falcon got fixed pretty quick, huh? It was on fire and probably majorly damaged just a few minutes ago. Now it's just all set, ready to go.
I need to go alone.
Yeah, along with friends.
It's too dangerous, Finn.
We are in a war, Rey. There's a gigantic threat coming that will destroy the galaxy. I don't think danger should be a reason to stop. It's now or never. This is what war is. It's always dangerous for those fighting. So before our heroes leave on their mission, Finn has a small talk with Rose. Remember her?
The General asked me to study the specs of old destroyers, so we can stop the fleet if you find it.
Sorry, Rose, but the fans have spoken. They don't want you in the movies anymore. And sorry, but you have also been friend-zoned. We gotta get back to the romance between Rey and Finn. After all, Force Awakens was kinda sorta setting that up in a way.
In the event that I do not return, I want you to know that you have been a real friend, R2. My best one, in fact.
Why is R2 not going with y'all? He has proven to be a very useful droid in the past and has saved the butts of our heroes countless times. Why does he need to stay at the base for? What use do they have of him there? He would be way more useful in this mission. Why is he not going? Before Rey departs, she wants to say her goodbyes to Leia. Is this scene supposed to be emotional? Why is this scene supposed to be emotional? They have had barely any time on screen together to form any kind of relationship. They barely talked in The Force Awakens. They had a minute at the end of The Last Jedi. And now we are supposed to believe that they have some kind of connection that makes this departure so sad? No, movie, that isn't how it works. So now our heroes are off on their quest, and then we cut to a monkey person literally putting back together the mask of Kylo. This is obviously a metaphor for JJ repairing and retconning the plot points of Rian Johnson in The Last Jedi. Hope you like The Last Jedi being retconned, because there is going to be a lot of that in this movie, trust me. After Kylo's helmet gets repaired, he joins his Knights of Ren and heads back to the lead Star Destroyer to have a meeting with the other officials.
Knights of Ren. Cool.
Thanks for the reminder, little Stormtrooper. We never totally would have guessed that. He reveals that there is a spy in the ranks that leaked the information about Palpatine being alive to the Resistance. But it doesn't matter, for it will not stop them with the new Sith fleet that Kylo has seen on Exegol.
I sense unease about my appearance, General Hux.
About the mask? No, sir. Well done.
During their little meeting here, one of the officers questions the motives of Palpatine and asks if he's wanting something in return. And actually, that is a fair question to ask.
This fleet, what is it, a gift? What is he asking for in return? Does that...
Oh, I guess not. Really? This is like a fair question to ask and you're just going to launch into the sky? It's like a metaphor for this movie whenever an audience member questions everything. Nope, don't ask questions. We're going to move on to the next scene.
They're in the movie for 5 seconds. It doesn't matter. We got to move on. We got to move on. There's other things we got to...
But if the Star Destroyers...
So now we go to our heroes as they arrive on the desert planet of Pisana to pick up Luke's trail. Once they arrive, they come across some kind of celebration festival that C-3PO says happens every 42 years. This is the number they went with because at the time of this movie's release, it was 42 years prior that A New Hope was released in theaters. There is no other reason for this number. They start looking for their wayfinder, then Rey encounters a young festival attendant who gives her a little necklace. Aw, isn't that sweet? She then asks for Rey's name, which she then gives. But then the festival attendant asks for her family name. Oh dear. This is to further imply that she is a nobody, but don't worry, that'll be retconned in a minute. Rey's talk with the little festival goer is interrupted by Kylo making a FaceTime connection with her, like we saw in The Last Jedi. He says that Palpatine wants her dead, but that he has a plan to turn her to the dark side. Rey denies Kylo's plan and says that she will not be turned to the dark side by him. Before the little FaceTime call ends, Kylo takes the necklace off of Rey. Wait, so now we can just transport objects through this connection instantaneously? I mean, I understand it was partially set up in The Last Jedi, you know, with like the water thing, but I thought that was just like remnants of a vision and that it would just disappear, kind of like how the dice did. So I was under the impression that it would fade away once the connection is gone, either instantaneously or just fade slowly. But now the object can just be instantly transported across space through this dyad connection.
That's not how the Force works.
The Force is not some teleportation surface. Also, how convenient is it that Rey, the one person who has this connection to Kylo, happened to be wearing a necklace with enough information for the Force Order to know where they are? If the necklace was given to any of the other characters, Kylo would have never found out where they are. Let's move on. Rey then determines that Kylo will soon be arriving. They run to the ship, but a stormtrooper stops them dead in their tracks and tries to call for help. But... okay, why does anybody wear this retarded armor? It could even stop a frickin' arrow. And throughout all of these movies, including the original trilogy, it only takes one shot to stop a stormtrooper. The armor doesn't protect the troopers at all. One shot, they're dead. Apparently there's an argument that the armor disperses the energy and renders the troops unconscious so it doesn't kill them. But that is also kinda retarded too. If someone is to shoot a stormtrooper in the leg or arm, they can still fight. But if the armor does disperse energy and knock you out, what would stop the enemy from removing your helmet and blasting you in the face to make sure you don't get back up? You're knocked unconscious, there's nothing you can do. They can just walk up and just blast holes into you. That's not a useful feature, really, is it? If you were to be shot in the leg or the arm, you can still fight. If it knocks you unconscious, you're completely useless. The armor needs to be like the one in The Mandalorian, in which it can at least take multiple shots. But it doesn't. So why wear this frickin' retarded armor at all? It couldn't even stop an arrow. So the person who shot the poor son of a bitch stormtrooper says he's friendly and reveals himself to be Lando Calrissian. Yay! He said that Leia sent him a transmission that Rey and her friends would be arriving on the planet soon, and that Leia asked Lando to help our friends on their quest. Why did Leia not tell Rey, Finn, Poe, or Chewie that Lando was on the planet and that he could help them? I have no idea. Lando then reveals that he and Luke were both working together to find the Wayfinder and find Exegol. They were hunting a Jedi hunter named Uchi. Apparently, this Jedi hunter Uchi has a clue that may lead to one of the Wayfinders. Luke and Lando followed Uchi here on this planet and searched his ship for a clue, but they were unsuccessful. And the ship hasn't moved since. It is still on the desert right where Uchi left it. Lando then looks out the window and sees that the First Order has arrived. Well, that was super quick. How far were they from this planet? They arrived within minutes. Rey says that they could use a good pilot like him, but Lando replies that his flying days are done. We, as the audience, know this is complete BS because we see him flying in the trailer later. So anyway, Rey and the Rey gang depart and steal some speeders to escape the First Order.
How do you know how to do that?
This is obviously a foreshadow to something about Poe that will be revealed later. I mean, is it not obvious? They start to flee, but the First Order are right on their tail with treaded bikes? Why would they not use speeders? All other forms of land transportation use speeders that float above the ground. These vehicles seem like a step back in technology if they actually have to roll across the ground. And then we get to this infamous line from the movie.
Oh, they fly now! They fly now? They fly now!
They fly now? They have always been able to fly. Since the prequels, jetpack troopers have been a thing. How do you not know that jetpack troopers exist? They've existed in the prequels. They've existed in the times of the Empire. Why would they not exist now? How would you not know that jetpack troopers exist? According to behind-the-scenes sources, apparently this line was put in the marketing team to help them sell the toys, against JJ's wishes, mind you. And also apparently at the premiere of this film, when the line was said, people said that they saw JJ facepalming into his hands. I would pay good money to see that. Don't worry, JJ, we were all facepalming at this line too. Hashtag you are not alone, JJ.
Never underestimate a droid!
Never underestimate a droid, huh? You think any of them would get this by now or learn this lesson after seeing the enhanced capability of R2-D2? Anyway, Finn gets rid of one of the biker gang troopers by throwing an anchor and getting tangled up in the treaded wheels. Why the shields on the bike do not block this, I do not know. I guess the shields only block laser pulses. With both bikes destroyed, our heroes come across Ochi's ship in the distance. Rey says she has seen the ship before, and in fact she has. If you remember, this is the ship she sees in her vision in The Force Awakens after touching Luke's lightsaber. One of the jetpack stormtroopers blasts both speeders, and our heroes land in some kind of gravelly sand. They blast the last jetpack trooper into oblivion, but they notice that they are now starting to sink. They try to do something about it, but unfortunately get pulled under. While they are sinking, Finn says to Rey,
Rey! Rey, I never told you when!
Okay, so most people watching this, I would assume, take a guess and say that Finn was trying to tell Rey that he loved her, right? I mean, that's what it looked like to us, right? But according to JJ, that's not what he was trying to tell her at all. Apparently, he was trying to tell her that he was force sensitive in this final moment, which is total BS. That makes this scene even more freaking stupid. Why would you want to tell Rey that you are force sensitive in your final moments? Why is that so important for her to know before you die? Rey, I'm force sensitive. Oh gee, thanks Finn. It was so necessary for me to know that you are force sensitive once we're about to sink in the sand and suffocate. What the heck am I supposed to do with that information, you twat? And why does Finn not want to tell Rey after they sink into the caves? He seems to be embarrassed about it and uncomfortable when Rey and Poe ask him what he was gonna say.
When you were sinking in the sand, you said, I never told you.
I'll tell you later. You mean when Poe's not here?
Why would someone be embarrassed about being force sensitive? Especially, why would you be embarrassed about this in regards to Rey, who is arguably your best friend and who you trust the most? Are you afraid of being made fun of? Are you embarrassed that you're force sensitive but not as powerful or good as Rey? This whole thing doesn't make sense. It makes more sense if he was going to tell her that he loved her. There's no way that he wanted to say that he is force sensitive. I think that is just something that JJ said to try to cover his ass. Anyway, our heroes sink below the sand and are perfectly fine, actually, due to the tunnels that lie underneath it. Also, I want to quickly mention that so far C-3PO is the best character in this movie. He's actually the one that I like to see the most, and he actually is good comic relief throughout the film. We'll talk about that more in detail later. It doesn't help with the fact that the main characters treat him like garbage as well. Wait, no. I see what this is. It's a metaphor. C-3PO represents the original Star Wars and its legacy and what people love about it. And the characters here, they're Disney, just not giving a single crap about it. Ah, another visual metaphor that we can make a meme of. There's a visual joke involving a lightsaber and a flashlight, and our heroes decide to take a look around the cave. They soon find a speeder that belonged to Ochi, and C-3PO determines by the logo on the front that it is a Sith loyalist speeder. Wait, so Sith just have their icons on, like, speeders? Really? Like, why? They wondered how Ochi escaped, and they find out that he died within these caves when they come across his bony remains. Along with that, they find an item of importance within the story, the Sith knife dagger thing. Rey senses with the Force that terrible things have happened with this knife. Rey also discovers that there is writing on the knife, and C-3PO offers to translate it. He is able to read it and indicates to our heroes that it reveals the location of the Sith Wayfinder, but that C-3PO is forbidden to translate it due to restrictions in his programming. Why? Why would you restrict him to not translate Sith? Is it because you're afraid of, like, darkness being unleashed? If you are trying to defeat an enemy, especially the Sith, who are like the enemy of many, you usually want to gather intelligence on them so you can create a plan or action against your enemy. You can't gather intelligence on Sith that may be useful if you put restrictions on your droid that forbids him from telling you vital information. Also, why would the location of the very important Sith Wayfinder be inscribed upon a dagger, a weapon that is used to kill people? Did the Emperor or whoever go, okay, the location of the Wayfinder, I am not going to put it on a map or piece of paper or something more practical. No, I'm going to put it on the weapon my assassins uses because of reasons. Well, who cares? Let's just move on. Then suddenly, a serpent appears. Oh my gosh! Our heroes start to take a stance against it, but Rey notices that the serpent has an injury. Rey hands Finn the weapon. Finn, you're holding the lightsaber very close to the blade. I wouldn't do that. It's very dangerous. She decides to approach the serpent cautiously, for no reason. Like, the serpent could just strike at her and bite her head off at any time, but it just doesn't. She just approaches it slowly. I don't know what she's doing here. I don't know what she's planning to do. I mean, she's looking at the injury. She's putting her hand out. Oh, no, please. Don't tell me. Don't tell me she's going to heal. Oh my gosh, really? Really? She heals the wound? Okay. This is a terrible thing to introduce into the Star Wars movies. Firstly, she just knows how to do it. Is this something that any Force user can do? Or can she do it because she is God? What are the limitations of this power? Did she learn this through the Jedi text? If so, then why don't Jedi do this in the past movies or the past lore? Why don't the Jedi use the Force to heal all their wounded troops and stuff? Is this a power that Jedi know about on a big scale? Secondly, the other reason it is bad to introduce a mechanic like Force healing into the movies is because it releases and gets rid of any tension for our characters. If fatal wounds and major injuries can just be healed like that with the Force and not affect Rey in any way, why should I be tense? You remember that the first time this is introduced was in The Mandalorian. Baby Yoda was the first time we kind of see Force healing. But at least with Baby Yoda, when he uses Force healing, it makes him tired and makes him weak, because it requires a lot of effort from him. With Rey, it's nothing. It's just perfectly fine. She can just do it and it takes nothing out of her. If Rey can just heal anyone, why should I be tense? Why should I care? Why should I worry about if our heroes get hurt? There isn't anything at risk anymore. Oh wait, no, I guess healing did cause Rey something. A muscle strain. Gotta rub off that muscle tension from healing a really bad wound. Also, Finn, why is the saber still turned on? You have light coming through now. You can turn off that thing. You don't need it anymore. It's a really dangerous weapon, Finn. So anyway, our heroes escape the K, and meanwhile, the jokes of Ren are on our hero's tail. So our heroes decide to try to escape on Uchi's ship, feeling the Falcon is probably already compromised by the First Order. But then Rey senses a presence. It says to continue on without her and that she will be right behind them. Then Finn tells Chewie to go tell Rey that they have to move it. Chewie heads out, but unfortunately runs into the Knights of Ren and gets captured. Okay, why is Chewie going around? Why didn't he just head straight to Rey's position? Why is he going down and then around the boulder? Is the other side of the rock not climbable or something? Also, how didn't Chewie not notice the Knights? They are out in the open on Chewie's right. I feel like you would notice them very easily. The Knights stand out like a sore thumb in this desert. I guess Chewie may be going senile. I mean, he is like 250 years old. Also, they got Chewie. Why didn't they go into the ship to get Finn and Poe? How do they not see Rey just standing out there in the open? Shouldn't the Knights know that Chewie is not the only fugitive that the First Order is after? How do they not hear the engines on Uchi's ship when Poe activates them? Wouldn't they hear that and go, oh, there is someone else on the ship. Let's go get them. They might be a valuable prisoner. Heck, maybe the Knights of Ren are actually doing a favor for Chewie. Maybe they're trying to get him out of this terrible movie and away from the grasp of Disney. Naughty, naughty Wookiee, I told you no MacGuffins in the story. You're under arrest. So now we cut to Rey, who again is just standing there and somehow hasn't noticed the troop transport and stormtroopers who got Chewie, and sees Ren is approaching her in his TIE fighter. Very close to the ground, actually. Rey ignites her saber, runs away from the TIE fighter, and does her backflip over Ren's fighter, slicing through one of the TIE fighter wings, and then the TIE fighter crashes. Okay, so what's wrong with this scene? Sure, it looks cool, but it's kind of dumb. Firstly, why would Rey run away from the TIE fighter? Why not just stand there and then jump over it and then slice it? If you are going to run, why run away? Why not run towards it? And actually, why run at all? Why jump at all? You could have just ducked and cut through the wing from underneath it rather than over it. And what is Kylo trying to accomplish here? He says later that he was trying to push her, so I assume he wasn't trying to kill her. But what if his plan actually failed? What if Rey actually did not complete her flip and went splat on the windshield like a bug? Oopsies, that was a big mistake. And also, how the heck is Kylo so unharmed and so uninjured? The TIE crashes with incredible speed, rolls down like a huge ball, and then it explodes! And he survives all of that with barely a scratch or any injuries at all? Maybe he got explosion surviving lessons from Palpatine. Finn gets the attention of Rey and says that they got Chewie on the transport. Rey uses the Force to try to pull the transport back to the ground. Meanwhile, Kylo gets out and sees what she is doing and tries to counteract Rey using Force Push. No, Kylo, wait. You can just Force Push her and just break her concentration. Why not throw your saber at her? Why not run up to her and swing your saber at her? Just keep her distracted so that the transport can get away. This is not useful, Kylo. Just Force Push Rey or Force Pull Rey or something. Like, stop trying to do this on the transport. Anyway, they stupidly fight over the transport for a bit until Rey starts to get frustrated, and then... What? How the heck did you do that? When did you learn to do that? Did you seriously just force lightning without even thinking about it? Jeez, if she can just do this, I bet she can even beat Master Yoda in a fight. Also, this is supposed to be a Sith power, right? So can you just use this power whenever you want, whether you're on the dark side or not? Why don't you ever use the lightning again throughout the rest of the film if you have this ability? Well, actually, she does use Force Lightning again, and I'll get to that once we get there. So the transport explodes as a result of the Force Lightning, and Rey assumes that she has just freaking killed Chewbacca. Even Finn seems to be upset at her stupid mistake. With more First Order patrols coming in, the rest of our heroes get on Uchi's ship and escape before they arrive. Why doesn't Kylo follow them, or make any attempt to stop them from leaving, like by running after them or using the Force or something? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's just jealous of Rey being able to Force Lightning by accident. Man, I've been training with the Force for years and years trying to master it, and Rey can just Force Lightning by accident? What is wrong with me? Back on the main First Order Star Destroyer, Hux reveals that he has a valuable prisoner. And it's Chewie! Yes, Chewie's alive. Yeah, really got me there, movie. You literally reveal that Chewie is still alive just 3 minutes after you said you killed him. Nobody was fooled by this movie. And you know, even if you did kill him, that would have been the biggest FU to all of the Star Wars fans. So now our heroes are stuck. They only have 8 hours left. The Dagger was taken by the First Order, and they do not know where the Wayfinder is still. But 3PO says the inscription on the dagger is now in his memory, but the only way to retrieve it is to do a memory bypass, in which 3PO's memory will be erased. The Rey gang just agrees to do the memory bypass, ignoring 3PO's feelings. Assholes. And Poe says that there is a droid smith on Kijimi, so they head there with the Knights of Ren's tagging close behind. Meanwhile, on the ship, BB-8 discovers Dio, the little cone droid who has been on the ship all this time. Why our heroes do not ask Dio to see if there's any information they could find useful or valuable, I have no idea. This droid could hold valuable information and they don't even think or consider it. Anyway, they arrive on Kijimi, somehow not being captured by the Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren were literally right on their tails and somehow they lost them. I guess the Knights stopped by a McDonald's to get a McMuffin. Our heroes search for the droid smith while the First Order searches for our heroes until they get discovered by an old friend of Poe's, Zori Bliss. Zori seems to be very angry at Poe, saying he left her for dead when he joined the Resistance, and reveals that Poe was a spice runner.
You were a spice runner?
Yeah, remember earlier when he was hot-wiring the speeder? That's what this was a setup for, apparently. Zori then takes a look at Rey and notices that she is the girl the First Order are looking for, and plans to turn her in for a bounty. Yeah, Zori versus Rey, the god of the Force. Place your bets who's gonna win this fight. Wow, who could have guessed? Then Zori just agrees to help them after getting beaten up and says she likes Rey. Makes sense, right? You would totally help someone who just beat you and your crew up. I guess it's a twist on the phrase beating some sense into someone. Anyway, Zori leads our heroes to Babu Frick. Babu says that he can get 3PO to translate, but will have to erase the memory of C-3PO. Why? Why does bypassing a protocol and a restriction need his memory to be erased? Does bypassing any programming require a memory wipe on any kind of droid like 3PO? If you have to wipe his memory, why not back up his memory on something, like a hard drive, or have BB-8 make a copy, or Dio make a copy? Why is there no hard drive or something to back up the memory on? You're a droidsmith. I feel like you not having something to compensate for wiping a droid's memory makes you quite incompetent. This is like a filmmaker not having an SD card with him, for God's sake. So now 3PO says that the odds are against them and decides to sacrifice himself for the sake of the mission. Yes, 3PO is about to die. First Han got stabbed, then Luke faded to nothing. Now 3PO, another classic character, is about to die. Is there anyone who isn't going to die by Disney's hands?
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir, at my friends.
Your friends? Really? Your friends? They have treated you like garbage the entire time you've been on this mission. They haven't considered how you felt at all until basically almost just now. They are buttholes to you. Great, 3PO's about to die with no one he really knows. Luke isn't there, Leia's not there, even freaking R2-D2 is not there for whatever reason. So Zori and Poe decide to go up top and keep lookout for more First Order troops. Zori talks with Poe saying she has enough money to leave the planet, but then Poe asks how will she get by all of the blockades, and she reveals this, a captain's medallion for the First Order. She says it will grant them passage throughout any blockade and grant landing privileges for any vessel. Really? So if you have that medallion, you can just land anywhere, no matter what ship you're on? So the Millennium Falcon can land on a First Order landing platform as long as they detect the medallion, and no one will question it? No one is going to look at the ship and say, hey, that is the ship we have tried to destroy many times. Something's up here. Also, if this is a captain's medallion and a captain loses it, why would he not get it deactivated so that no one could use it against them? Like, that's how a credit card works. Whenever someone loses a credit card, they get it deactivated so that no one can use it and use their money. I feel like this is how a medallion should work, but apparently not. None of this makes sense. Like, why would it... Shh, we gotta move on. There's hundreds of plot points to get through. Poe then talks about how no one came to help with the resistance on the Battle of Crate, and how everyone is afraid. Zori replies saying that there are more of us than the First Order, and that they win by making you feel alone. No, Zori, I think they win because they possess planet-obliterating weapons. She then talks to Finn, saying that she has seen Ochi's ship, which remembers the same ships that she saw her parents leave in. Babu says that 3PO is ready to translate the message, red eyes and deep sinister voice and all. Why the heck would translating a Sith message make 3PO's eyes red as well as making his voice so deep and sinister sounding? I have no idea. It is revealed that the Wayfinder is on the Imperial Vault on the Death Star remains in the Endor system, and that you have to see the wreckage from the southern shore. I guess the southern shore is telling them exactly where our heroes need to stand to find the Emperor's Vault in the next scene. Good thing, too, because if they didn't, they would have been totally screwed. Don't worry, we'll get to that.
Friends destroyer. Chewie is on Ren's ship. He's alive.
What? You can detect that Chewie is alive through the Force? I know that this is not something new to Star Wars. This has been something that the Force can do since the original trilogy. But if she can detect that, could she not detect that Chewie wasn't dead when she blew up the original transport? He was just on another one close by. Why could you not detect that you did not kill him? It has nothing to do with proximity because she can detect someone else dying later in the film who is millions of miles away from her.
He's alive. He must have been on a different transport.
Yeah, I guess he was on another transport, and somehow you couldn't detect that he was alive. You are a Force God, Rey. You should be better than this. So anyway, with this revelation that Chewie's alive, our heroes concoct a plan to rescue Chewie while Kylo heads to the town to try to find Rey. Zori then gives Poe the medallion so that they can get to the ship safely. Yes, the medallion that Zori was going to use to get her out of the oppressive planet, she's just going to give to Poe, who she hasn't seen in a while, and even though a few minutes ago she wanted to kill him. Yep, just give up your only ticket to freedom to people you barely know and that who you hated for a long time. Makes total sense. Our heroes get into Uchi-Guchi's ship and they head for the destroyer, and the medallion just lets the ship on with no problem. 2 stormtroopers check on them and instantly get shot. Our heroes come out of the ships ablaze and shooting down all the stormtroopers within the hangar. Wouldn't that alert the ship that you are here? Aren't there security cameras in the hangar? They are clearly in the hallway in a later scene. Why aren't there cameras or extra security on the hangar? Why would this not alert personnel to your presence? They run into some stormtroopers, but Rey uses Force Mind Trick to stop them and get the location of Chewie and his belongings. While traveling through, Rey suddenly senses the dagger on the ship and that it is imperative that they get it. How does she know that they need it this bad?
A feeling.
Good thing too, because if they arrived on the shore of the Death Star wreckage without the dagger, they would have been so screwed. You mind tricked the stormtroopers to tell you where the dagger and Chewie's belongings were. Why do you need to feel where it is now?
Whose ship is this?
But Pride, it doesn't matter whose ship it is. They have a captain's medallion, so they are totally friendly, right? Might want to rethink how your medallion is employed in your systems, huh? So based on Rey's feelings, she splits off from the team to get the dagger while the rest try to escape. They blast through like 20 to 30 stormtroopers, no problem. Jeez, if these troopers can't even stop like 3 frickin' prisoners, what good are they? These troopers are completely useless. They got one shot on Poe and not even a fatal one. On his arm. Keep in mind though, I am going to come back to the fact that Poe was shot in his arm later. So anyway, sadly our heroes get cornered by the troops and are captured. Again. Cut to Rey and we see her coming into Kylo's headquarters and finds Darth Vader's charred helmet, as well as the belongings and the Sith Knight on just this little table here. Why isn't the knife held in kind of a more secure location? I mean, like somewhere more locked up? Just in case? Why wasn't the door locked to Kylo's little room? At least wouldn't that be a thing? Anyway, as soon as Rey comes across the dagger, Kylo initiates a FaceTime call with Rey again. So wait, can he just do this randomly now? It was established in the last film that it was Snoke who was bridging their minds, and Kylo even said that the effort would kill her if she was doing this on her own.
You're not doing this. The effort would kill you.
Okay, so they can just do this now themselves? Is this a retcon of that? Does it just happen whenever the plot wants it to? Movie, come on, you gotta fill me in more and explain how this works. Anyway, Kylo reveals to Rey that he knows the rest of her story and what happened to her parents. Rey gets angry with him and they have a freaking lightsaber fight across different locations. Why would this happen? In The Last Jedi, Rey tried to shoot Kylo on their first FaceTime call, but it didn't injure him. Does it apply the same to the lightsabers here? I mean, objects can be seen in different locations now, so like, how does this work exactly? Poe, Finn, and Chewie are then taken to Pride, and Pride says to terminate them. As Poe, Finn, and Chewie are sent away to be terminated, we cut back to Rey and Kylo continuing their little lightsaber fight through space and time. As they are fighting, Kylo reveals more to Rey about her parents. Apparently, her parents were no one, but only by choice, to keep Rey safe from someone who wanted her. Palpatine himself. Kylo says that Palpatine sent Uchi to fetch Rey's parents and take them away for interrogation. But after Rey's parents refuse to tell where she is, Uchi decides to put them both to death. Okay, a few things here about this, right? So Uchi is there, right here, with his dagger, trying to interrogate the parents to give up Rey's location, right? And they don't say anything, and Uchi stabs them to death. Firstly, so this was Uchi's ship. Alright, Uchi, I still don't know how to pronounce it, who picked up her parents because he was looking for Rey. But Rey was, by what I can tell in this shot, like right behind the ship. She was so close she could see them going away. She was yelling for them to come back. Are you telling me that Uchi somehow did not see her there? She looks like she was so close. Literally, you could see her probably out of a back window. And somehow Uchi, a Sith-trained assassin, could not detect that that was her, determine that was her, or even find her right there. She's standing right there. Secondly, after asking the parents only once, where is your daughter, and they don't give him the answer, he just kills them right away. Are you not going to try to interrogate them? Oh, I have an idea. Why don't you take them to Palpatine and he can use like the Force mind trick interrogation thing that we saw in the past 2 movies. Kylo was able to do it. Snoke was able to do it. There is no way that Palpatine does not know how to do it. He should be able to employ that ability. Why not just take the parents there so that Palpatine can use that ability and find out where Rey is? Well, I mean, let's just be real here. Uchi is pretty stupid. For some reason, he doesn't interrogate the parents more, and for some reason, he couldn't get out of a cave. Anyway, Kylo and Rey continue their lightsaber fight until they hit the helmet stand and Darth Vader's helmet falls to the floor. From Kylo seeing this in his location, he is now able to determine where Rey is and orders his troop to lock down the ship. Now, this would make sense if it wasn't for just one little thing. You see the shot right here? Look right there. Rey was holding the Sith knife the entire time they were dueling. And it's very clear from these shots that Kylo could see it from his end. Did Kylo not see the knife so obviously she was holding in the other hand? The clear, obvious, easy to spot knife. Wouldn't that indicate a little something to you, Kylo, about her whereabouts? Even if she was already off the ship somehow, it would at least not be a bad thing to lock down the ship anyway until you can confirm she is not on the ship. Seriously, Kylo, you're really slipping. Anyway, back to Finn, Poe, and Chewie, and they're about to be executed by 3 lonely stormtroopers. Before the stormtroopers shoot, Hux says that he would like to execute them himself and takes one of the troopers' guns. During this, Poe decides to ask Finn again what he was going to tell Rey in the sand pits. Yeah, so embarrassing to tell someone you're force sensitive, my ass. Wait, Hux butts in and says he would like to shoot them himself. I wonder if this is gonna be a moment which looks like he's going to shoot the heroes, but instead he's going to shoot the stormtrooper.
I'm the spy.
What? You?
Yeah, so Hux reveals he is the spy. And why is he the spy?
I don't care if you win. I need Kylo Ren to lose.
Why not just hire a bounty hunter or try to secretly kill him? I get it maybe in your character to betray Kylo because you didn't like him and because of how he treated you in the last movie, but why would you betray the First Order? I thought you liked the First Order. Why risk the First Order finding you out in this way for the sake of beating Kylo and defeating Kylo? Meanwhile, since Rey has obtained all of the belongings, she gets back to the ship. 3PO says that the others have not returned yet, and Rey sends the droids to go and find them. You're going to send 3PO, D-O, and BB-8 to try to go find them on this ship. What happens if they run into stormtroopers? What are they going to do? They can't fight, really. C-3PO's really a coward. Do you really think these 3 are capable of handling themselves in this dangerous place? Yeah, maybe the Force is just strong with C-3PO now. And apparently it is, because the droids find Finn, Poe, and Chewie in just 5 seconds. Now that is extremely lucky. We cut back to the hangar and Kylo arrives where Rey is. Rey asks Kylo why the heck did Palpatine want to find her, and Kylo reveals to her the truth.
Because he saw what you would become. You have his power. You're his granddaughter. You are a Palpatine.
Yes, she is a Palpatine, further retconning what was set up in The Last Jedi. Nope, she is not nobody no more. She is the granddaughter of the freaking Emperor Palpatine. You know, according to Kathleen Kennedy and JJ, the point of Rey's character is for her to be someone, you know, who's trying to find her place in the universe and trying to make a difference in the world, even though she doesn't feel important and though isn't important. How does making her a descendant of one of the galaxy's most notable and infamous figures help emphasize that point? Nah, you can't do anything special if you come from nowhere. You gotta be a descendant from someone special to do that. Now, I understand why they put this in here, because we need to explain why Rey is so powerful. But still, like, could she just... This would have been just so much better if she was trained. If she was just trained like Luke was, and that would be fine. And then she could just be not descendant from anyone. Like, come on. Moving on, the Falcon comes in to save Rey by using its engines to blow back the Stormtrooper army as well as Kylo. Why does Kylo need to take effort to stand against the Falcon thrusters while Rey needs no effort and can even run against it like this? I have no idea. After our heroes escape and head to their next destination, Palpatine makes a FaceTime call to Kylo without the FaceTime, asking why Rey is not dead yet. You know, if Palpatine can do this little Force connection, communicate thing, why does he call Vader in the original trilogy via the hologram system? Meanwhile, going back to our heroes, they arrive on one of the moons in the Endor system. Wait, hang on, why did you land it like that? The Falcon can hover in place. It doesn't need to land like a plane. It doesn't have wings. It has thrusters all around it that can make it float.
Landing gear's busted? How busted?
Your landing gear was busted? So? You can still land the ship softly with no landing gear. Whether you have landing gear or not does not affect the fact that you can just land the ship softly on the ground. The Falcon can float. Just put it softly on the ground. It would have damaged it less. We see our heroes walk across the grassy fields until they come across the wreckage of the Death Star. Okay, so many questions here. Firstly, how is it together as it is? The thing was obliterated to smithereens in Return of the Jedi. It was obliterated. It exploded to a million pieces. It shouldn't be here like this, in a huge, massive chunk. There is even glass in the window of the Emperor's throne room. Really? The glass survived this? Also, why are there no scorch marks on it from burning into the atmosphere of this moon? How is it still in the one big shape after hitting the ground at immense speed? If this huge chunk did fall to this moon from the sky at a very fast speed, it should have caused major damage to this moon. It should have maybe obliterated the entire moon. Anyway, they know that the Wayfinder is somewhere in the Death Star, but they do not know where to look in this huge amount of wreckage. Rey remembers the line that 3PO said earlier, only this blade tells, decides to take out the dagger, pull out the erection bit of the dagger, and... Really? Really? Okay. The stupidity here is off the charts. Firstly, this is so contrived. Why would you make your dagger to do something like this? You make it the shape of the Death Star wreckage and add an extension to the side of the dagger to point exactly to where it is? Why would you mold your weapon to shape this way? Why not put the location on the map on a paper or something practical? It is so impractical and so insane that you would design your dagger for this single purpose. Nextly, our characters just out of luck seem to be standing in the exact position for this lineup knife thing to work. If they were on the other side of the wreckage, or further away from it, or just slightly off, or anywhere but here, the knife lineup maybe would not even work. Now, I have heard in small conversation that apparently 3PO does tell them exactly where to stand. It's basically when he says this kind of stuff.
At Delta 36, transient 936, bearing 32, on a moon in the Endor system. From the southern shore.
Okay, but even if this talk is in fact telling them exactly where to stand, it doesn't excuse the stupidity of this situation. Thirdly, Rey just pulls out the ruler thing and just instantly somehow knows that this is what she needs to do. That she gives the knife an erection and basically knows, oh, I have to hold this up and line this up with somewhere on the wreckage of the Death Star. She just somehow knows this. She's able to interpret this from just pulling out this thing. I guess it's just the Force again.
Force, Rich. Oh, the Force! It's not sloppy writing. It's the Force.
Also, wouldn't these massive waves and this water like maybe upset the wreckage of the Death Star over time? Like erode it and maybe make it fall apart more? Like there is so much wrong with this. It's again another coincidence, and a stupid coincidence at that, just to move the plot forward. But anyway, after finding out where the Wayfinder is using the knife thingy, they meet Janna, the new token black character to add to our roster. Yes, I am saying that she is a token black character because like a lot of characters in these movies, she is not developed and really has no character. She's just here for whatever reason. She is basically just an ex-stormtrooper like Finn, left the First Order, went into hiding, and that she is a skilled fighter. That's pretty much all we know. Janna tells our heroes that she can get her to the wreckage via water skimmer, but that they will have to wait till morning, when the waves are calmer. So in the meantime, while waiting for the waves to die down, they decide to try to fix the Falcon. Maybe if you landed the Falcon the way it usually does, it maybe wouldn't be in this bad of a condition, Poe. While the crew fix the ship, Finn discovers that Janna and her friends were deserters of the First Order, just like him. She reveals that she refused to serve due to a feeling. Okay, this is now getting ridiculous. Characters are just doing actions based off of feelings all the time throughout this movie. I assume by feeling the movie is implying the Force. So does that mean that only people who are Force sensitive can break their conditioning? Is everyone on Janna's crew Force sensitive since they broke free of the conditioning too? Or only those who are Force sensitive seem to have any kind of morality or code? I mean, can people feel that something is wrong and evil to do without the Force? Do you need the Force to be able to tell what you're doing is wrong? Also, I want to address something here when regarding to this shot. You will notice that Poe has a bandage around his arm, where he was shot earlier. I find this really interesting because for some reason, Rey has decided not to heal this wound like she did with the worm. Why? You healed a worm that looked like it wanted to kill you for no reason. But for some reason, you are not going to heal Poe, one of your friends, someone who arguably needs the healing more than the frickin' sandworm. I guess she cannot do it because he's a difficult man. Anyway, BB-8 tells Poe that Rey seems to be missing. We then cut to her and she is going out alone on a skimmer, even though we were told it was too dangerous to do so earlier. And despite the fact that she has never operated a skimmer, and the fact that she's also grown up on a planet with absolutely no water, she operates it just fine. And she makes it absolutely no problem at all. She gets to the wreckage without even a scratch or without anything getting broken. Heck, even Finn and Janna get out there without any trouble later. So Janna saying that it was too dangerous in regards to the plot was for absolutely nothing. It was completely pointless. Kicking on, after Rey gets to the Death Star wreckage, she starts to climb through it, and for some reason doesn't use her levitation powers to navigate this place. She eventually comes to the throne room, seen in Return of the Jedi, somehow in pretty decent condition considering it was exploded. Heck, there's the glass that I mentioned earlier. She then sees a door to the side, and somehow the door has power and opens up to her. Anyway, she does find the Wayfinder, as well as an evil version of herself that she has a small lightsaber battle with. Remember how this was in one of the trailers for The Rise of Skywalker? They were hyping it up as if she was actually going to be turning to the dark side. Who actually fell for this? Who actually thought that this was real? Of course I knew this was a vision, a dream, or something. I knew this wasn't real. They would never do this to Rey. She is a pure, angelic heroine. She would never turn to the dark side. I also want to mention how impractical that red lightsaber is in its parallel configuration. It looks so dumb and completely impractical to use in that configuration. Who would ever have a lightsaber like this or use it like this? Double staff configuration? Sure. Why in this configuration? Who would ever use the lightsaber like that? It's so dumb. Right before the fight ends... Guys, what the heck am I looking at? What is with the teeth? It looks so fake and it's just so corny when they pop up. Did you want to have a Baggins moment from Lord of the Rings? Oh, whatever. Anyway, she trips and falls and drops the Wayfinder only for Kylo to pick it up. She ignites her saber, ready for battle. I like how he looks at Rey as if she is an idiot. I bet Kylo is thinking in his head, you know, you could just use the Force to help you here. You could just force pull or pull the Wayfinder out of my hand or force push me and make me drop it. You could do a numerous things amount of here, Rey, with your Force abilities to make me drop this. He shows her how stupid she is by just standing there not using the Force at all by destroying the Wayfinder. And they have another lightsaber fight. Also, I just realized, is Kylo here alone? There is no sign of any First Order patrol, ships, troopers anywhere. Why would you come alone, Kylo? Why wouldn't you bring at least a small patrol to capture her friends? They are still a threat, you know. They could know where your fleet possibly is. Wouldn't you want to prevent them from returning to base with vital information? Oh my god, my brain is imploding! Anyway, during their fight, we cut back to the rebel base where Maz Kanata announces to the audience that Leia is about to kill herself. Apparently, Leia is going to try to contact Ben through the Force, and for some reason, that is what is going to kill her. Yes, this is how she dies. This is how Leia is going to die. And Maz just announces it to the audience. Thanks for the announcement, Maz. Kylo and Rey continue their fight, and for some reason, Kylo is starting to beat her. Funny, he was never able to beat her before. Guess he got some training off screen. He is about to deliver a final blow, which doesn't make sense because he said he didn't want to kill her and that he had other plans. I know Palpatine wanted her dead, but Kylo said he isn't serving him and has other plans for Rey. But right before his final blow, he hears his mother calling out to him through the Force. Also, is that supposed to be Chewie's medal that he gets later? Why is she holding it now? Does she need that medal to contact Kylo through the Force? Anyway, for some reason, this makes Kylo drop his lightsaber, and Rey decides to cheap shot him and stab him right in the chest. And then Leia dies. That is it. We have killed off our three main human heroes. Han is gone, Luke is gone, and now Leia is gone.
Everyone dies!
Rey also senses Leia's passing and is now saddened by it. Yes, it's so sad, Rey. You and Leia had such a strong connection in the 10 minutes you shared on screen in this entire frickin' trilogy. Rey, for some reason, feels regretful for stabbing Kylo right through the chest and decides to use her Force healing to heal the frickin' lightsaber wound. Geez, she can even heal a lightsaber wound as severe as this? Man, this would have been handy for Obi-Wan to have after his master got stabbed, wouldn't it? And then just leaves Kylo there and gets into his TIE fighter and just flies off. Yes, she just leaves our heroes behind. She doesn't tell Finn, Poe, Chewie, none of them where she is going, what she found out, nothing at all. She just leaves them there for absolutely no reason. Gee, thanks, Rey, you're such a big help. Meanwhile, with our heroes having nothing left to do, they decide to get in the Falcon and head back to base to see Leia, but then to find out that she has passed. Now, I actually want to point out something good here. One of my favorite scenes in the film. I've been talking about this film in a negative light pretty much all throughout. Let's quickly address an actual positive, and that is Chewie's reaction to Leia's death. It felt genuine and makes sense because he has been with our heroes through thick and thin since the original trilogy. He is one of the few people still alive who had an actual relationship with Han, Luke, and Leia, and now they are all gone. Chewie, I am so sorry for what Disney has put you through. We cut back to Kylo still on the Death Star wreckage when he is visited by a vision of his father, Han frickin' Solo. Solo gives Kylo a pep talk saying it isn't too late to do what is right and that even though his mother is now gone, what she fought for is not and that he can carry on that legacy. This scene really doesn't make sense because this isn't a Force ghost or something. This is just in Kylo's head, his memory.
You're just a memory. Your memory.
Which means that Han isn't really forgiving him, and it is all just nothing. It's nothing. Kylo is just basically forgiving himself through this vision or whatever. If this was actually Han Solo, and he, never died in The Force Awakens, that would be one thing, and maybe this scene would actually be a lot better. But he isn't, and so including him in this scene doesn't work. Why not have Luke or Leia visit him as a Force ghost? It would make more sense. Leia's his mother, and she just passed. She can go into her Force Ghost state and talk to him. It would make more sense for the scene. Anyway, Kylo makes the bold decision to turn to the light side again and chunks his saber into the water. Why he doesn't take the saber with him to use to fight his knights and use it as a weapon in general, I don't know. Hey Luke, apparently you did pass something on to Kylo. Chunking a very valuable weapon. Now we see Palpatine order General Pry to send one of his Star Destroyers to blow up a planet, and they decide to blow up Kijimi. This is where we find out that every single one of the ships on the planet of Exegol has a planet-killing weapon. Yes, the weapon that needed a sun and something as big as Starkiller Base to power it now can just be attached to the bottom of a frickin' Star Destroyer. He discovers that Dio actually knows a lot about Exegol, as well as the story behind Rey. Wow, you just found this out now? Again, why you decided not to examine him when you found him, I have no idea. But now you have the information, how convenient. Really, why does no one think very tactically in this film? We cut to Rey, who is currently on the planet from Episode 8, where Luke was hiding. We see her destroying Ren's ship by setting it ablaze, and apparently she has decided to exile herself, just like Luke did. Wait, really? Really? You spend almost a whole movie trying to get Luke to come back and help the Resistance, saying that he is wrong. But you see a vision of an evil version of yourself, as well as a vision of you sitting on the throne of the Sith, and accidentally stab Kylo out of anger, even though you healed him and he's fine now. All this is enough for you to exile yourself on this planet forever? Give Luke some credit, he had at least somewhat more of a reason to hide himself. His actions resulted in the death of his students, while she hasn't had anything to go on except some visions. Feels like Luke had at least somewhat of a better excuse to exile himself. Anyway, as the ship burns, she takes Luke's saber and throws it into the fire, but then...
A Jedi's weapon deserves more respect.
Wow, another retcon of The Last Jedi. The retconning is over 9,000!
I'm never leaving this place. I'm doing what you did.
I was wrong.
Yep, just have Luke blatantly say it. I was wrong.
What are you most afraid of?
Myself.
Because you're a Palpatine. Leia knew it too.
Wait, you knew? You in the last film almost killed Ben because of his dark thoughts, but Rey, being a descendant of one of the most evil people in the galaxy, and you were like, nah, she's good, she's a good person, let's us train her. You have more faith and trust in the granddaughter of Palpatine than in your own nephew? Really? Really, Luke? Really?
She's still trained me.
Because she saw your spirit.
For God's sake. Luke gives Rey a pep talk saying that she needs to go face Palpatine, otherwise it will be the end of the Jedi. Luke tells Rey that there is something that his sister would like her to have. I guess it makes sense considering she is knowledgeable of the Force. Now, as someone who loves the lightsaber as a weapon and loves the different hilt designs, this is a cool one to me in my opinion. It looks nice, I think it kind of fits the character of Leia. And also, I do not have such a big problem with Leia being trained as a Jedi. I mean, I think it was kind of set up in Return of the Jedi. Luke was telling her that she will learn the power that he has, and also she is able to sense when that Luke was not on the Death Star when it exploded. So this doesn't really bother me as much as other people. But anyway, apparently Leia stopped her training because she sensed the death of her son at the end of the Jedi journey. So she surrendered the lightsaber, saying one day it would be picked up again by someone else who will finish her journey. Wait, so if Rey is continuing your journey, doesn't that mean that when she finishes it, your son's gonna die? I mean, does it? Okay. With this pep talk, Rey then changes her mind and is now determined to face Palpatine and destroy him once and for all. She gets the second Wayfinder and the burnt ship, and then Luke lifts his waterlogged X-Wing out of the water. And it still works! Wow, they found a way to destroy both The Last Jedi and Luke's character even more. Do you know what this means? The fact that the X-Wing still works? That means that Luke could have gone to the Battle of Krayt physically. He could have flown there, but he decides just to use some projection which in the end kills him. Doesn't this mean basically that Luke killed himself? Like Luke committed suicide doing this ability when he could have gone there in person? That just puts a nail in the coffin of this argument. That was a big argument for The Last Jedi. People were wondering why Luke didn't go there in person, and I thought it was because he waterlogged the X-Wing. It was under there for so long that basically it's non-functioning. But nope. And somehow it still works after being underwater for so long. We cut back to the Rebel base and we see that R2 discovers that his best friend does not remember him and had his memory wiped. But don't worry, R2 had a backup of 3PO's memory the entire time, up to right before he even left with our heroes on the Wayfinder mission. How convenient! 3PO is no longer dead. He is perfectly fine. They built up that sacrifice for 3PO like it was gonna be something big, and now the sacrifice is just retconned. Okay, how many people are going to die and come back in this frickin' movie alone? Palpatine died. He is not dead. Chewie dies. He is not dead. 3PO dies. He is not dead. Like, come on! Why is no one staying dead in this movie except the people who we do not want to see die? Can you bring Luke back to life, please? And Han, since it's so easy for someone to survive this. Anyway, they plug in Dio via an aux cord and find out that Dio has a technical readout of Exegol. Really? You don't say. It tells them everything about the planet except how to get there. Wait, he is on Exegol right now and the Wayfinder is not with him. He didn't use the Wayfinder to get there, which means he already knows where this place is. So why not go and destroy the other Wayfinders? If you don't want people to come to your planet and destroy your fleet, then destroy the Wayfinders. You don't need them, you know where Exegol is. And just tell whoever else you want to come to your planet the coordinates. You don't need the Wayfinders anymore. Go destroy them. Anyway, they now have a readout of Exegol. R2 reveals that he is getting a transmission from Luke's X-Wing. It is Rey transmitting coordinates on how to get to Exegol. And with all this information, the Resistance comes up with a plan to try to take on the Final Order fleet. Now, you would think all is lost, right? The Resistance is a very small, dwindling fleet, and they are going to try to take on an army of hundreds, if not thousands of Star Destroyers, each with a laser cannon strong enough to destroy a planet. Plus, there is a regular First Order fleet, whatever is left, and these Star Destroyers are manned by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people and troopers, and probably have legions of TIE fighters and vehicles they can use to take out the Resistance. So how do our heroes have a chance against something as powerful as this? Excellent question. And the answer is stupider than you think. First thing to note, apparently the shields of the Star Destroyers cannot activate while in the atmosphere of Exegol.
They can't activate their shields until they leave atmosphere.
Which means they are vulnerable. Well, if this is a problem and they can't activate shields, how about you fly the ships out of the atmosphere and have them circle, like, around the planet? Boom! Problem solved. But wait, it gets even stupider. Listen to this.
Which isn't easy on Exegol. Ships that size need help taking off. Nav can't tell which way's up out there.
So the ships, these Star Destroyer advanced ships, they don't know how to go up, or at least don't know how to go up without this navigation tower? Why? These are some advanced top-of-the-line Star Destroyers, and for some reasons, the ships themselves do not know how to go up. Let me repeat that to you watching slowly. They don't know how to go up. Yes, up. Frickin' up. Here's an idea, retards. How about you look out your frickin' window, find the ground, and go in the opposite direction, or just send a few ships in many directions, and whichever one hits space first, follow that one. Or build this navigation tower / system in each of the individual ships. There are so many ways to counter this really specific weak point. Anyway, apparently when the tower is blown up, the ships will no longer have a source of navigation, and that if you shoot the underbelly cannons, you will blow up the entire ship it is attached to. That is the plan. It is as simple as that. All because the ships can't fly upward and they have no shields and atmosphere.
Air team's gonna find the tower, ground team's gonna blast it.
Why? Why do you need a ground team? You don't need a ground team. The thing has no shields. Just send some X-Wings and fighters to fire their lasers at it and blow it up. There's no point for a ground team. It is a waste of time. Just frickin' shoot it.
Once the tower's down, the fleet will be stuck in Atmo for just minutes, with no shields and no way out.
Wait, stuck for minutes? No, they are gonna be stuck there forever. Without the tower, they cannot go up. Poe. Anyway, Blonde Man here has some tactical advice for the Resistance.
We need to put some holdo maneuvers. Do some real damage.
Come on, that move is 1 in a million.
1 in a million? 1 in a million? How do you miss? They named this after Holdo? Really? After her? Really? Was she the first one to do this kind of maneuver? I highly doubt that. Poe and Finn further explain their plan.
That's where Lando and Chewie come in. They'll take the Falcon to the core systems. Send out a call for help for anybody listening.
Well, that seems inefficient. Why do that? Sending the Falcon to the planets individually and asking for help seems to take a lot of time. Why not just send a message out from one location? You literally did this in The Last Jedi. You know, when no one actually came. Also, why would anyone come now? The number of ships and resources have been multiplied by hundreds of times compared to the Battle of Crate. Nobody showed up then. Why would they come now, since the odds are so much more against them? And also the fact that the Star Destroyers have planet-killing weapons. I guess Lando's charm will help him, and also emphasize how dumb the Final Order fleet is and how easy it is to take out. When he arrives on the first planet, he may say something like, "Hey, we need your help to take out the Final Order. I know that you may be scared of them, but just listen to me, okay? Just listen. Listen, the ships do not know how to go up, and they have no shields and atmosphere. We literally just have to shoot them, okay? It is that simple." So our heroes prep up and start to head to Exegol. Meanwhile, Rey finally reaches Exegol. Also, why does she activate the X-Wing's attack position? She's not going to fight the fleet anywhere, she's just heading to Palpatine. And she closes the wings in the next shot. Anyway, she lands and heads to the giant cube to Palpatine's lair to confront him. Meanwhile, the Resistance flies through the red debris field thing instead of going around it, and finally reach Exegol themselves, and a space battle emerges with hundreds of lasers shooting around the sky. You know, Poe, why would you start this attack now? Why not wait for Lando to come back with his army? It would be better, you know. Oh well, nothing makes sense in this film, why do we start now? Pride sees the plan the Resistance has of taking out the navigational tower, the tower which, by the way, is completely unprotected and unguarded, and says to switch the source of navigation from the tower to his own ship. Wait, what? You can do that? Your ship can navigate out of here by itself? Why can't the rest of the ships? Why not switch over the source of navigation to each individual ship?
Oh, switch it to each individual ship. There you go. You just turn your back to the planet and start going in a direction.
Oh my god, it's so dumb. Why, Chris Terrio, why, JJ, can you not see the stupidity in this situation? Anyway, the Resistance sees the tower deactivate and determine the new source of navigation must have been activated somewhere else. Finn says it is coming from Pride's ship. Jenna asks how does he know this, and he replies,
"A feeling."
He has a feeling. A freaking feeling. Does the Force just come in and help our heroes out of any situation? The little Force here and a little Force there. Force there, Force here, everywhere, Force. Everyone just has the Force. F-U-C-K-U. So they fly the transport ship to land on Pride's ship and ride space horses to their destination. Why they didn't land the transport ship closer to their destination? Well, I usually would say I don't know, but I do. To have a cool visual for the trailer, of course. We gotta sell tickets. Space horses riding on a Star Destroyer. Man, that wants to get you to buy a ticket, doesn't it? Also, why do they need a ground team again? You could just fire a missile at it with your X-Wings and other fighters. They have no shields and atmosphere. Just shoot it, you freaking retard! look, a trooper got shot and it didn't hurt him. Now that is proper stormtrooper armor right there. Also, these are apparently supposed to be Sith troopers. This isn't important, by the way. There aren't anything special compared to other troopers. The only difference between these and normal troopers is just that they're red. Gotta sell them toys. We cut to Rey, who has found the arena, and Rey has finally found the Sith throne, and as well as some loyalists in the stands. And of course, she comes into contact with Palpatine himself, face to face. Palpatine tells her that he has been waiting for her and that he never wanted her dead, and that he wants her to take the throne. He reveals that he wants her to kill him, and in doing so his spirit will pass into her. Wait, why? This is what you wanted the entire time? For her to come here and kill you? Why did you send Kylo to kill her? If Kylo killed her, then this plan would never have happened. Is this a plan B? Tell me, Palpatine, tell me! Cutting back to this ship, Finn and Janna successfully destroy the navigation tower on Pride's ship. Pride says to reset the navigation systems. The tower is blown up. Resetting the system will not do anything, man. Also, if this tower is destroyed, why not just go back to the original tower? Turn that on while you are doing whatever it is you are doing. Come on. Anyway, cut back to the throne room. Palpatine shows Rey that all her friends are being blown to smithereens, and that the only way to save them is to kill him and take the throne to stop the attack. But that wouldn't work, though. He's lying through his frickin' teeth, because Palpatine just said that his spirit will transfer into hers. If you're gonna take over her body, why would you save the fleet? Rey would have no control over her body now. Rey, he just gave you information that makes his claim of you saving your friends complete BS. Anyway, moving on. We now see that Kylo has arrived on Exegol. Rey senses his arrival, and with this in mind, she decides to take Palpatine's offer. Also, how did Kylo get off the planet? I mean, I guess he could have called for a ship to arrive. I mean, nobody knows that he has turned to the light side except him. But that TIE fighter looks like an original TIE fighter from the original trilogy. Did he get that from the Death Star wreckage? A perfectly working TIE fighter was found in the Death Star wreckage? Wow, how convenient and lucky. Anyway, he jumps through the opening, says ow, and heads to where Rey and Palpatine are. Don't worry, even though he stupidly threw away his valuable weapon, he now has a gun. But he bumps into the Knights of Ren and becomes surrounded. But he has a gun. He should be fine, right? I mean, the Knights of Ren have, like, axes and clubs and things. Compared to a gun, the gun should be able to help Kylo win. And also, Kylo has the Force. He should be fine, right? Well, actually, when we cut back to this fight, the gun is gone. It mysteriously vanished. Well, how convenient for the Knights of Ren. Also, I want you to take notice of something. Look closely at this shot. Did you see that? Let's play it again. A Knight of Ren just force-pushed Kylo. The Knights of Ren had Force capabilities the entire time and have never used it until now? Can they not use their Force capabilities to make their own lightsabers like Kylo? That would be more useful than the axes and clubs they are carrying. But no matter, Rey and Kylo see each other through Force FaceTime, and Rey uses Force Prime Delivery to give Kylo Luke's saber to get him out of his bind. And Kylo gives a Han Solo shrug. Ha ha! Oh, the Knights of Ren's weapons can be used against a lightsaber? Okay. I feel like the lightsaber should cut clean right through it, but I guess there's some special axes and clubs, I guess. Also, what is this? He just posed and waited for someone to hit the saber. What is that? Why not just hit his legs, you stupid knight? Anyway, Kylo Ren disposes of the Knights of Ren pretty easily, while in Rey's location, she disposes of the Red Bodyguard. Kylo finally reaches Rey, and now he and her are about to take on Palpatine. Oh shoot, what is gonna happen here? They were posing for a lightsaber battle, and Palpatine just takes their sabers away.
The life force of your bond, a dagger in the Force.
You knew this already? You connected their minds in this bond in the last movie. How did you forget this detail? Anyway, this bond is apparently so powerful that Palpatine literally sucks the life force out of both of them. Not all of their life force, but enough to restore Palpatine to his normal, happy state. Back to the surface, it looks like our heroes are on the brink of defeat. Poe is losing hope fast and tells all his crew that it looks like they will not make it out of here alive and that there is just too many enemies. But then Lando comes in to show what his friends have brought. Holy cow, look at that fleet! How did you get these many ships to help you in such a short time? The turnaround was in minutes. Secondly, how did these ships navigate the space portal thingy? Maybe they took our advice and went around it like we suggested. And thirdly, why are you coming now? None of you came at the Battle of Crate, where the odds were way more in the Resistance favor. If these many ships came to the Battle of Crate, the war would be over. All the First Order's remaining vehicles and resources would be easily destroyed, as well as Kylo being captured, and less life would be lost. But no, an army of hundreds of planet-destroying ships, that is way more in the Resistance favor. Let's go and help them now. Now the good guys are here just as a big, huge fleet, and they start to shoot down the ships by hitting their cannons. All because they cannot activate shields in atmosphere, because they cannot escape the atmosphere, because they do not know how to go up. Do you see how this doesn't work, JJ? When you have a fleet that is this large and powerful, but has pinpoint and easy to exploit weaknesses, they aren't threatening or intimidating anymore. It's like if a guy who is so muscular, twice my size, came at me with malicious intent, and I just kick him in the balls and I win. Also, in case if you were wondering who the heck this guy is, he is this guy from the original trilogy. I didn't even realize it. Yet they felt the need to give him a cameo for some reason. Just shoehorn in another reference, I guess. Also, in this Y-Wing, there is somebody very special. Yes! Sorry! Babu Frick, they made it, yes. Frick made it. Aren't you happy that someone you absolutely do not know anything about and only had a few minutes of screen time is here and alive? She didn't die on Konshimi. They both made it. Yay! Wait, what? What is that, audience? What, you wanted Luke to be in this fight? And Leia? And Han Solo? Well, screw you! We don't care about your characters, boy! We cut back to Palpatine, where he has decided to do a quick wardrobe change. The Sith crowd in the stands are very pleased with his garments. Ben starts to get up, but Palpatine force pushes him down a hole. R.I.P. Kylo. You turn to the light side for pretty much nothing. I mean, it isn't like Kylo's coming back from this. Right?
As once I fell, so falls the last Skywalker.
Actually, I am a Solo, not a Skywalker, you idiot! So Palpatine sees the rebel fleet above him and decides to deal with it by... Wowee! Since when could you do that, Palpatine? Could you have always done it? Why didn't you use it in Return of the Jedi? Also, this causes the ship to just fall out of the sky and shut down their system. Funny, when Rey did it, it blew the ship entirely up. But Palpatine's apparently just shuts down the ships for some reason and not blow them up. Anyway, Rey wakes up very weak and sees that her friends are all being shot with Force lightning. She just tries to call upon the Jedi one last time. And it works. We hear many Jedi voices. Obi-Wan, Luminara Unduli, Mace Windu, Kanan Jarrus. You know, I actually kind of do like this scene. It's not done entirely well, but I like the idea of it. So I guess in a way I kind of got what I wanted here, except not exactly how I wanted it. Should have been better executed. I just kind of wish this scene was more earned and used in a better movie. Anyway, the Jedi's pep talk gives her strength and she gets back up, Force grabs Leia's saber and is ready to take on Palpatine. Again. Palpatine takes notice and decides to start shooting lightning at her, but she blocks it with the lightsaber. Wait, she's able to block lightning powerful enough to take down a whole fleet with a single lightsaber? Wouldn't that be impossible in some way? Also, it doesn't help that Palpatine just aims it somewhere else. Palpatine, just aim the lightning at the lightsaber hilt and fry it. Or aim the lightning at her hand that she's using to hold the saber with. Literally do anything here. Force push her. Force the saber out of her hand. Like, stop shooting the lightning. There are so many ways to avoid this, Palpatine. It seems you didn't learn your lesson in episode 3. Also, look at that face. No, Palpatine, I'm going to win this fight. Anyway, since Palpatine is no longer shooting lightning in the sky, the rebels' ships start working again, somehow not crashing to the ground. He was shooting that lightning for like a solid minute, maybe 2. We actually cut back to Rey, who is still blocking the lightning. Somehow, she is blocking it, with one hand as well. Palps tells her that she is no match and that he is all the Sith. And in response, she says...
And I'm all the Jedi.
Gee, can you guess where maybe they got these lines from? Anyway, with Luke's lightsaber, she starts to make her own lightning and shoot it at Palpatine. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, no, Javier, she is reflecting the lightning back at Palpatine, like Mace Windu did. Well, actually, that is not true. You're wrong. You look in this shot here, and actually, he is not shooting the lightning anymore. It's no longer coming out of his fingertips, which means that Rey is somehow using Force lightning by her will again, and somehow making it come out of her lightsabers. How the heck does that work? Lightsabers absorb or block lightning. Now she is making them produce lightning? Oh well, who cares? Palpatine explodes, and the explosion makes the entire arena crumble, and the falling rocks kill the audience. Heh, it's a metaphor for what the audience is feeling like in the theater watching this garbage on screen. Cut to Finn and Jenna, and they finally destroy the command deck of Pride's ship. The ship begins to fall with still both of them on board, but don't worry, the Falcon comes in to snatch them up before the Star Destroyer crashes. We cut back to Rey, and she dies. Yeah, she dies. She dies from killing Palpatine. She doesn't appear to be injured, she just seems to die of being tired, I guess? Well, it looks like this is the end of her. She completed her journey, and now her story is done, and now... Oh, whoa, Kylo is not dead. He's not dead. Nope, not dead. He's fine. He's fine. He fell down a chasm for God knows how long, but he's just fine now. Okay, well then, he heads over to Rey and discovers that she has died, and apparently looks saddened by it. Funny, you really had no relationship with her, Kylo. You even tried to kill her in the past movies. Why are you so sad? You barely knew her. Sure, it may suck that she is dead, but you are taking this death way too personal, man. And just when you think the Force couldn't be any worse, Kylo suddenly uses Force healing at a big enough power to bring Rey back from the dead. That's right. You heard me. Not only can it heal wounds as bad as a lightsaber stab through the chest, it has the power to bring people back from the dead. And Kylo, a decently powered Force user, can do it. Do you know what else this means? Anakin, from the prequels, had no reason to turn to the dark side. His biggest motivation to learn the dark side was to save Padme from a possible death at childbirth that he kept seeing in his dreams. Kylo brought Rey back while he was on the light side. What is the point of Anakin turning to the dark side if all he wants to do is save Padme? He could have just easily done that and learned this ability. There is no way that Rey and Kylo are the first Force users to have this ability. There is no way. Anakin, one of the most skilled and powerful Force users ever, can't heal better than frickin' Kylo Ren. Oh well, Kylo brings Rey back. Here she is. She is back from the dead. Our Mary Sue is just all alive, well and dandy, and she's happy to see Ben is back to the light side as well. She seems happy. Actually, she seems a little too happy. Rey, why are you touching his face like that? Give Ben some space, okay? There's a thing as personal space, okay? Actually, both of you, move yourselves back. You guys are a little too close for comfort. This is getting awkward here. Seriously, Rey, stop it. It's not like you two are love. Ah! What the frickin' Babu frick? What the What stupid idiot. What frickin' moron thought this was a natural thing to happen here and there. They haven't had any romance in any other part of the film. They were even trying to kill each other at points. How does this make any sense? Apparently, I hear that it is rumored that this was Kathleen Kennedy's idea. Kathleen Kennedy, do you know what a proper romantic relationship looks like? Have you ever been in a romantic relationship your entire life? This isn't how it works, Kennedy. You don't just suck face with someone who has been trying to kill you for the last few years. What data did Lucasfilm get and analyze to determine that they should put this in the film? Are all your survey respondents users on DeviantArt and Tumblr? I cannot fathom why you would ever put this in the movie. No one ever saw them this way. No one. I have not met one person ever who sees them as a couple or even romantically interested at all. I cannot imagine how the editing team, how the crew would see that and go, yes, this is fantastic. This is art. This is great. Did you seriously just do this to please the Reylo crowd? Well, too bad for those fans. They cannot have a happily ever after because Kylo decides not to be in this film anymore and just kills himself right then and there. It was his only way to be truly redeemed, to get out of this garbage movie. His body, as well as Leia's body, disappears. I guess symbolizing peace or something. Maybe that's why Leia didn't disappear at first. We now cut and see all of the stupidly made Star Destroyers just fall out of the sky. Over many planets, nonetheless. Cloud City, Jakku, Endor. Wait a minute. What is that ship doing? Okay, let's see here. That seems to be like a lightspeed trail. That seems to be split down the middle. Wait. Is that a holdo maneuver? Did a ship just pull off a, quote, 1 in a million holdo maneuver? I mean, look at it. It was split in half. There's debris flying everywhere through it. Did someone really actually pull off a holdo maneuver? Yeah, 1 in a million. BS. So the rebels get back to base and celebrate their victory. Yes, this is the real victory. Not Return of the Jedi. This one. Heck, we even get a celebratory lesbian kiss. But it is still small enough for the editors to edit it out for Chinese audiences. While they are celebrating, Maz has something to give to Chewie. Now, I will be honest. At first, I have no idea what this was. It wasn't until I looked into it that basically this was the medal that he did not earn in A New Hope. Wow, Disney, you really are desperate to please the audience after The Last Jedi. Cut to Jenna. She decides to take a seat next to Lando and ask,
Where are you from, General?
The gold system. But what about you, kid?
I don't know.
Well, let's find out.
Well, that seems kind of an odd question to ask after a battle. Where are you from? Why would you want to know that? Apparently, Jenna is supposed to be the long-lost daughter of Lando, but it was cut from the film, so it just makes this scene more awkward. Anyway, we now go to the last scene of the movie. Oh, we're almost there. Okay. Rey and BB-8 take the Falcon to visit a place we all know and love. Luke's farm from A New Hope. Why is she there alone? Why aren't her friends with her? Why is BB-8 there? BB isn't her droid, it's Poe's droid. Anyway, she decides to take a look around the farm and just take it all in. I mean, I like this idea in theory that we get to visit this place in the end. It's just not earned. Also, I feel like this home farm thing would be more of a touristy destination considering it is the home of the famous and legendary Luke Skywalker, Jedi Master. Maybe? No? After taking the Skywalker tour, she takes both Leia and Luke's saber and buries it in the sand. These sabers are pretty valuable. Why would you just bury them? Why not keep them? I would. Why not display them or keep them in a chest somewhere? Like maybe use them for some kind of memorial or something. I mean, I don't think Anakin would be a fan of you burying his lightsaber in the sand. He hates sand. It's coarse, rough, irritating, and gets everywhere. After burying sabers in the sand, Rey reveals to the audience that she's made a saber of her own, from the staff part, in the color of yellow? Okay. Then a stranger comes by and tells Rey no one has been here for so long. The stranger asks for Rey's name, and she says Rey, but the stranger wants a full name. Rey doesn't know what to say, but she looks to her right to see Leia and Luke as Force Ghosts, all happy and dandy, looking proud of her, and she replies,
Ray Skywalker.
No. No, 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 na, 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 na. You do not get to just take the name of Skywalker because you want to, you jerk. It isn't your name to take. You don't deserve the name of Skywalker. You are not a Skywalker. You will never be a Skywalker. You will never be a Skywalker. To all who are watching this right now, have y'all seen footage of people reacting to this in the theater? People absolutely hated this moment. They were booing, complaining, leaving the theater, everything.
Ray Skywalker.
Rey, while though you're not a bad person, I mean, you are Force God, you did not earn this by any means. Heck, why not say you are Rey Palpatine and that you're going to leave a legacy of good rather than a legacy of evil as you carry on Palpatine's name? That would make sense to what Luke said earlier. Remember when Luke said that some things are stronger than blood? You can prove that by staking on Palpatine's name and say you're going to do good in the name of Palpatine rather than evil. This is one of the biggest FU moments to the audience, right at the end. Oh my god, it's over. It's over. Okay, credits are rolling. Oh, it's over. All right. Oh, it's done. We're done. It's over. Let's go ahead and move to the final thought, shall we? This film is the pinnacle obvious statement to how poorly this entire sequel trilogy has been handled by Disney. When it comes down to it, in the end, this trilogy is just honestly a worse remake of the originals. Not to mention, it pretty much makes the original story almost pointless considering the fact that Palpatine never died. One of the biggest problems with this film is that it has no emotional resonance or core to the story. In the original trilogy, Leia, Luke, Han, Chewie, 3PO, R2, Lando were more the heart of the films. They are Star Wars. These new characters just don't have that really. Their development and growth just isn't as good as the originals. Finn doesn't really grow past the first movie since basically his character arc was completed by the end of The Force Awakens. And Poe, I'm sorry, what even is his arc? And Rey is just honestly more of a Mary Sue. She is better than everyone at everything. She can fly ships, beat Kylo and Luke in lightsaber duels, and everyone likes her. She doesn't seem to struggle too much or have many flaws or things that make her relatable, so she's just kind of an overpowered nobody really by the end of it. There just isn't anything there. There's no emotional core to this movie to grab the audience like the original trilogy had. There is no reason for us to care or be worried or feel anything at all. I just felt nothing and still feel nothing watching this film. It's like I'm watching a blank screen. Another big, huge flaw is just the writing and the script. This script is so dumb on every level. Characters behave weirdly, like Finn not wanting to tell anyone he is force sensitive, quote unquote. Plot points that make no sense, like how the Emperor is even alive despite blowing up twice, or the stupidity of the final Overfleet not being able to do something as simple as go up, or the outrageous, implausible scenario of the knife being made to align with the wreckage of the Death Star. Just all these and more. Nothing is logical, rational. Characters do stupid things. It jumps all over the place. And honestly, it just makes sense that this is a train wreck, considering that one of the main writers, Tario, is that his name, wrote another train wreck of a film, Batman vs. Superman. He just can't make scripts that aren't train wrecks, can he? Also, the retconning of The Last Jedi, man. Holy cow, it is over 9,000. It is to a level that basically they are trying to pretend that The Last Jedi doesn't exist. It's like they're trying to play a Jedi mind trick on you. You will now forget everything that happened in The Last Jedi, and we will fix all that you hate about it. It's just retconning every single thing about The Last Jedi and basically giving a big middle finger to Rian Johnson. Kylo's helmet? Fixed. The Knights of Ren? They're back. Luke's saber? Repaired. Holdo maneuver? Pretty much impossible to do, except it isn't. Throwing the saber away? Luke now respects it. JJ says there isn't bad blood between him and Rian, but I don't know. I really feel that this film really says the opposite. Now, the film is not all bad. There are some things that are of decent quality. Some. Firstly, in regards to characters, I would say that C-3PO was actually pretty good. I liked how before his memory was erased, he was asked by the crew that isn't this the best odds we have, using 3PO's knowledge of odds against him to persuade him that there is no other way, even though really there should be another way. 3PO was also good comedic relief. He actually had some funny lines. They weren't annoying or they weren't cheesy, they were actually pretty funny.
The Aki Festival of the Ancestors. This celebration occurs only once every 42 years.
Good job, 3PO. In regards to computer, I mean, the special effects were good, but I mean, I was expecting them to be with a budget this frickin' big. So good job to all the animators and special effects crew who worked on this film. You did a good job, and you are severely unappreciated in Hollywood and deserve better. Now, I would say the film is also entertaining, but not because it's good, but because of mostly how dumb and bad it is. I mean, Palpatine, when he's doing his thing, you know, we like that. Him being Palpatine, showcasing his power, the funny faces and stuff he makes, you know, all the stuff we like about Palpatine. Nextly, the actors, despite the bad script they had to work with, did seem to give good performances, and they actually tried and gave decent and good performances that go throughout the film as a whole. The cinematography and set design was fine, I guess. I mean, some shots were cool, I guess. I mean, I guess the cinematography and set designs are fine, but there really aren't any shots in my head that really stick out that I feel like are memorable. And despite my gripes with it, I do like how we end the story where it began, back at Luke's home, just taking it all in. Well, no, actually no, I like the idea of it. The idea of ending the story back at Luke's home. If it was in a better film that felt like this ending was more earned, I probably would have liked this scene a lot more. I guess one thing I do like about this final scene is how they do reuse some shots from A New Hope in it, like this one. You know, it feels very reminiscing, and I appreciate them doing that. Other than that, I really think that's about it for stuff that's legitimately good or decent. Everything else about the film is just meh or straight up bad. In the end, this film is just terribly written, with plot points and characters that act outrageously stupid, and the film just does not have the heart of Star Wars. No emotional core. And also that they have no payoff from anything from the last two films, more than likely probably due to the fact that they had no plan for this trilogy to start off with. Disney, listen to me. The damage is done. You cannot save Star Wars anymore. You have made it no longer special with the amount of milking you are doing to the franchise by pumping out these films year after year. If I were you, Disney, I would not touch anything else within the timeline of the 9 films. Whatever the next film is, I personally would want to see something that happens before the events of Episode 1. Like maybe even way before the events of the original trilogy. I would be hyped for an Old Republic film or trilogy. That would be awesome to see. Taika Waititi is apparently the director of the next Star Wars film, which I have some hope in. I mean, I do like Taika, and he has made a lot of good stuff. But Disney, it is time to move on. Leave the Skywalker storyline behind forever. I do not want to see it anymore. I do not want it to be any more damaged than it already is. The story is done. over. Leave it behind. No more fan service. No shoving in nostalgia. No more references for the sake of references. I want something new. Fresh. Strong. A story with so much potential. With a new world. A new setup. New characters. Locations to explore and see. If you want me to be excited about Star Wars again, then you gotta bring me something new to the table. And something that doesn't ruin the original trilogy. Your company was founded by a man who came up with original characters and had imagination. So keep that imagination train rolling and please come up with something better. Please. And that's it. That's my review of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. If any of you watching have any comments, please go ahead and just comment freely. I don't know what my next video will be, but I'll come up with something. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys.